Alright, so regardless of how you feel about this series itself, can we at least all agree that the posters and the marketing for this show is pretty badass? Like, I gotta be real with you. These posters are pretty hard. These are some pretty dope posters, pretty badass. And they got my excitement up for this show, but like I said, regardless of your opinion of the show, let's just agree that the posters are hard, because my opinions on the show, well, you're about to find out. Let's get into it. Guys, this is Echo. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my spoiler-free review for the new Marvel Disney Plus series, Echo, 5-episode limited series, however you want to describe this thing, that's what it is. Look, it's going to be completely spoiler-free. I'm just going to be giving my overall thoughts of what I liked, what I disliked, and honestly, at this point, something that I think is just becoming a consistent thing as far as when you have to review Marvel projects, just my overall frustration with them at this point, because aside from Loki, please remove Loki from any of the bashing that I'm going to do with Marvel in this video, because Loki Season 1 and Season 2 was absolutely spectacular. And look, I enjoyed the Marvels because I thought it was a lot of fun. The story is kind of wonky, but I truly, Iman Vellani and Brie Larson and Tiana Paris truly made that movie a lot of fun. But they're kind of involved in this too, only because the story's all over the place. But Loki is the only project that I'm removing from this bashing of Marvel that I'm about to do. But look, let me talk about what I liked first, or honestly, I'll give you a little plot synopsis. So basically, this story is about Maya Lopez, aka Echo, who, after the events of Hawkeye, moves home for a little bit, trying to stay under the radar, trying to figure out what she's going to do next and how to escape the sins of her past. And while she's doing that, she is unable to, because Kingpin is still up and walking around. And she basically just has to deal with her past as far as her family tributes, or her family's generational gifts, I'll call them, and basically she's just trying to find out what is next for her in her path and what she has to do in her life, and what's next for Echo, basically, and discovering who she is. It's kind of a discovery of who she truly is after being what she feels like manipulated her entire life by Kingpin. So that's the best way I'm going to describe the plot. But look, I truly just want to ask, before I get into what I liked and what I disliked and the bashing of Marvel, where my Marvel gone? Like, I just want to know where my Marvel gone. The one that actually had me caring when a Marvel project was announced, who had me caring about watching each one of these and making sure that I couldn't miss what came before it or comes after, because it's all going to come together with some big cohesive finale or some big story. It's all going to connect somehow, which a lot of us have had complaints about that for a long time now, but it's just like, now I feel like Marvel has just completely forgotten how to even tell a cohesive story in a series. In a single series, they have completely forgotten just how to tell a cohesive story that comes together, and one that you can emulate yourself with, you can emotionally attach yourself to. I mean, yes, people are going to be able to empathize themselves with the character of Echo, because she is deaf and she's also she's native. I don't want to mess up, you know, what tribe she's from and all that stuff, but yeah, she's native, and that's a representation thing. And like I said, well, I didn't say this, but Alaqua Cox does a phenomenal job. She does a very good job as Echo, in my opinion. I thought she did great. The performances are not what I have a problem with here, but at this point, I'm kind of just getting into what I liked and what I didn't like, kind of mixing them together. Look, as far as what I liked about the series, Alaqua Cox as Echo, I thought she did a very good job. Now, at some points in the series, I feel like she's not using a lot of like facial expressions to really like express her reactions to things. But I mean, I don't really fault her for that, just because, I mean, she is deaf, so it's like she's going to express things a lot differently than people that can actually hear. So I'm not really going to fault her for that. I mean, that's just something that kind of stood out to me as I was watching. Like, she's not really as expressive as, I'm not going to say as she could have been. Maybe Echo, I don't know, like, the character Echo from the comics that well, so I don't know if she's just not a very expressive person, but she was raised by Kingpin, so I don't imagine. But Kingpin's very expressive, especially when he yells. But look, regardless, she did a very good job. I thought she was very entertaining. I thought her fight scenes were awesome. Her stunt work was amazing. I truly thought that, I mean, for a TVMA rated show, I don't necessarily think the action was like that, like, spectacular to the point where it needed the TVMA rating. Like, this thing truly could have been TV-14. Like, there's blood and gore, but I've seen TV-14 shows push the limits as far as like what they did here. Like, honestly, it didn't necessarily need to be TVMA, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, the action sequences were pretty cool. I wish there were a lot more of them, I'm not gonna lie to you, but a few of them were pretty cool. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, he's always going to be amazing. He crushes it every time he steps on screen. I'm never going to have a problem with that man at all. Like, he's great. He's amazing. Like I said, I don't personally have a problem with the performances in this show whatsoever. What I do have a problem with in this show is the pacing. The pacing of this show is all over the place. It makes no sense how we are literally bouncing. Honestly, the first episode was so kind of hard to keep up with because it was kind of recollecting the events of Hawkeye, but it's like it just felt like they were just presenting you with pieces of information, and then we were skipping to another part of her life. Then we were introduced to some other part, and then skipping somewhere else, and then you finally realize at some point, oh, this is recapping the events of Hawkeye. Okay, well, thank you for making that clear, I guess, because I truly would not have been able to understand that the way y'all were telling this damn story. And then throughout the rest of the series, it's like we're literally just jumping around, and they're trying to tell so many different parts of this girl's life, and I guess they're doing their best to flesh out this girl's character in 5 episodes, which honestly was a bad idea from the start. You're not going to be able to completely flesh out a character in 5 episodes. Like, they are literally jumping around Echo's life as far as like her relationship with Kingpin, her relationship with her father, her relationship with her grandmother, her relationship with her family. Like, they're bouncing around in a lot of different parts of her life, and they're just not telling it in a way that feels like a naturally flowing story that we can keep up with and honestly just follow the entire time. It's just like, you understand what's going on to an extent, but it's like they're just jumping around, and it's just so choppy. Like, the editing in this film, the editing in this show made my head hurt. Because it was as if there was let's say, for example, there's a scene where she, like, Echo is walking out of a building and she's talking to somebody, and you can see her talking to the person. For whatever reason, the show would cut, like, go to black real quick, and then come back on, and it's still the same scene. They're still talking to each other as if, I don't know, somebody made an editing mistake in the booth, but this is the entirety of the show. This is the entire way that we are transitioning from scene to scene to scene. It's as if somebody thought that they were going to have commercial breaks in this show, but then they realized, oh no, it's on streaming. There are no commercial breaks, so we're just gonna have it. We're just gonna, it just has to come back on. It's like the way that this thing was edited, somebody thought that this show was going to have commercial breaks. No. It's on streaming. There are no commercial breaks. Why was this edited this way? And honestly, I noticed it from the very first. I mean, you're going to notice it regardless. But from the very first episode, the first time it happened, I thought it was a mistake. I thought somebody messed up because it literally cut to black and we're still in the same scene. They're having the same conversation. Nothing's going on. I'm like, what was the point of that? It happens throughout the entire series. It's just completely choppy and messy. Another problem I have with this show is that the story is truly, like, there were so many parts of this story that truly could have been better. Like, honestly, I feel like Kingpin and Maya's relationship should have been drawn out a little bit more. We should have been able to seen her in her teenage years, not only, like, the way the trailer presented it to me, I thought we were really going to get an in-depth look at their backstory and their relationship and why she loves him so much. They really kind of hint at it, but it's never fully presented to you. And once you truly get into the gist of the entire story itself, by that point, you're just like, yo, this thing is all over the place. I don't think they know what story they want to tell at this point. This thing felt like somebody put up on a poster board 30 different ideas, and they said, we have to fit all these into 5 episodes. Y'all figure it out. And he left. And everybody just looked around at each other, was just confused as hell. Like that's literally what this thing feels like. It feels like we just had a bunch of ideas. We had 5 episodes to fit them in. Y'all do what y'all do. It's really not making any sense at this point, man. And here's the part where I really just want to start bashing Marvel, because honestly, you have a lot of dedicated fans, including myself, who truly care and are truly waiting for you guys to bounce back and pick yourselves back up and be the Marvel that we all once knew and loved at some point. But at this point, to me, it's as if y'all don't even care anymore. And I'm not talking about the treatments of these characters, which, I mean, some characters are treated very shitty, Shang-Chi, for example, but it's like y'all don't even care to tell a story anymore. I'm not sure what we're doing at this point. This is a complete mess. This entire cinematic universe, this entire universe itself is a complete mess. And honestly, the fact that you look up Echo and the first image that pops up for the trailer is Daredevil is a slap in the face, because he is only in the show for 3 minutes. Don't act like you're surprised. Everybody knew Daredevil was in this show. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but that was not news. That was already announced that he was going to be in the show. He's only in the show for 3 minutes. Don't know why Charlie Cox even shows up in the top 4 actors in this show itself, because he's not in the series that much. And it's not a Daredevil series. I understand that, so I'm not completely upset that he's not there that much. But I'm like, for the way that they were kind of teasing what was going to be in this show, I was just left very underwhelmed by a lot of stuff. There was even this relationship that she had with a friend named Bonnie, that somebody who she knew as a sister, or they were cousins, but they considered themselves sisters as they were younger. Their relationship, as they got older, they literally only hit on certain parts. Bonnie should have been much more mad at Maya for leaving her. I mean, not leaving her as a kid, but, you know, you would think that Bonnie would be a lot more upset with her for Maya coming back into town and just not talking to her whatsoever. No. It's like they truly only touch on a lot of these topics because they don't have time to truly flesh anything out. Why? They were only given 5 episodes. Don't know whose call that was to only have 5 episodes of this, but you either could have made this 8 episodes as you normally do. I think normally Disney Plus shows are 8 episodes, or it could have been like a TV movie. It could have been one or the other. 5 episodes is way too short. You tried to fit too much information into one thing, and I'm honestly getting really tired of it. I'm honestly getting really tired of them just not caring. Or that's what it feels like to me. It feels like y'all don't care about us fans anymore. Like, you just want to push out content. That's why this break that they're having, or this hiatus they're having this year, is much needed. Now, Deadpool 3, I hope Kevin Feige has minimal to do with that, because I have the utmost faith in Ryan Reynolds, in Hugh Jackman, in Sean Levi, because they know how to treat that character. They know how to treat Deadpool very well. I hope Kevin Feige has minimal to do with that. But at this point, I truly think Kevin Feige his ego has just gotten way too big, and he is washed. At this point, I think it's safe to say that Kevin Feige is washed, and they need to get plenty of other writers in here. He can still be the head, but he does not need to be in these meetings anymore, or he just doesn't need to be saying shit. He is washed. This is done. I am very upset, because I am just watching this show and I'm just like, yo, this thing is all over the place. This show I expected better from. This show I low-key wanted better from, because I didn't even think Echo should have been made. I didn't even think this thing should have been a series. I was so confused as to why it was coming out. Then that trailer dropped and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this will be a little bit cool. Maybe this will be something pretty special. Maybe this will be something to just be at least appreciative of. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to scream that Marvel is back, but maybe it just can scream or tell us that, hey, we're trying to get back to where we were at one point. That's not the case here, guys. It's truly just a shame where we have gotten in these last couple years in Marvel. Like, it's where my Marvel gone. That's truly all I can say at this point. Where has my Marvel gone? It's not here. I don't know if it's coming back. But please just bring me Shang-Chi on it. Well, actually, if you're going to mess him up too, then just leave him alone. But please, just, I'm begging y'all, man. This is getting real hard to sit through, man. I'm telling you, this year for Marvel is a much needed year where they need to sit down and get it together, because 2025, you have a lot riding on those projects. There's a lot riding on those projects. If Captain America is not the shit, And I will not blame Anthony Mackie or Sebastian Stan, who I think is supposed to be in that movie. But regardless, I'm not blaming none of them. It's not the actors' faults. It's not the actors' faults. It's not the performances. It is truly the writing at this point. The writing is atrocious, and it needs to be fixed. You need a complete rewrite of everything. Just get it together, if that's still possible. But look, overall, guys, Echo was a surefire disappointment to me, and it has nothing to do with the characters, has nothing to do with the actors. It truly has everything to do with the writing, everything to do with the editing, everything to do with the fact that I just don't care anymore. I want to care. That's what's tearing me up inside. I want to care about these projects. I want to care about Marvel. I love Marvel, and I want to care again. But the real question is, do you guys care? Marvel. Clearly you guys watching aren't Marvel execs. Maybe you are. And if you are a Marvel exec watching this, do you care? I hope the answer is yes. But look, those are my thoughts on Echo, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Look, if you enjoyed the Echo series, please let me know in the comments below. I'm not here to bash on you guys. I'm just here to bash on Marvel and my personal thoughts of just where this train wreck has headed us, has us heading at this point. But look, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Look, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and so much more, guys. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.